Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all are doing good. Today's topic is historical development of inclusive education in India. We know some archaeologists discovered the evidence of inclusion of people with disabilities in India from 2000 or more years ago in the form of the adopted toys made accessible for the children with disabilities. And before independence, the Gurukul system was prevailed in India for centuries before the British rule, and the main motive is for the social, economic, and cultural need of the students and their families. That is, the main motive of the Gurukul system is to fulfill the needs of uh, students and families. The India was colonized by the Great Britain in 1947, and by this the Gurukul system was ended, and the new system, that is the new style of the education system, was started in and is still on, which is known as the British style. When this British style system is very cut and dry, based on the rote memorization and with few inclusive education services. The first special school for blind children, that is person with disabilities, opened in 1869 by Jane Leopold with the support of Christian Missionary Society. In 1883, school for deaf was opened in Bombay. In 1887, Christian missionaries opened a school for blind in Amritsar, and by 1900, some special schools spring up throughout the country. And most of the children are blind and visually impaired, and the majority was funded by NGOs and private funders. In 1900, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, the professor of English literature, mathematics, introduced a bill under Indian Council Act 1909 to make compulsory primary education. This bill is passed, if this bill will be passed, it would provide funding for compulsory education for all, but however, it was voted down. In 1944, Sargent report by Central Advisory Board of Education suggests that children with disabilities should be entirely mainstreamed, and Sargent report also states that it was the only way to provide an education, but the government of India completely contradict this statement. The government of India opened a segregated school for the children with disabilities or the children who are disabled, but these schools are very expensive and located in urban areas or marginalized people with disabilities in rural areas. India gained independence from the British in 1947, and the inclusive education is written into India Constitution as a fundamental right for all citizens. Next, the part 9 of the Indian Constitution, that is the Article 45 of the Constitution, states that within the 10 years of the commencement of the Constitution, for free and compulsory education for all child complete the age of 14 years. The 86th Amendment Act of the Constitution, that is under Section 21A, read that the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all the children of the age of 6 to 14 years in such a manner as the state may by law determines, although some viewed as positive and others criticized the age restrictions. In 1960, inclusive education was organized and funded in India, and by which the Ministry of Education split into two branches. A new branch, Ministry of Social Welfare, was created, and this Ministry of Social Welfare was given a responsibility for the weak and the vulnerable sections of the society. But this Ministry of Social Welfare Society, they focus on the rehabilitations, not much on the education system of the India. Instead of supporting this current education system, they began giving out grants to non-profit that provide education for children with disabilities, preventing inclusion of these children within the public and the mainstream sectors. The split of these two ministries has never been resolved and is still on in this way at a present. All about the historical development of inclusive education in India. If you like, please subscribe the channel.